Afternoon Year 4 and welcome to your DT lesson on Tuesday the 26th of January. This is the third DT in this unit, still looking at food, and today we are going to be understanding and applying the principles of a healthy and varied diet. Your steps of success for today then, we're going to be sorting foods into different food groups. We're going to be identifying the principles of a healthy and varied diet, and then you're going to create a healthy and varied daily meal plan. Let's get started for the day then. Okay, what is a healthy and varied diet? What do the terms healthy and varied actually mean? Have a think about it or chat with the person sat next to you if you're a key worker in school. Just see if you know what they mean to start off with, and it doesn't matter if you don't. And while you're doing that, you can also have a think about where you are on the learning pit today. Do you think this is going to be challenging based on me already telling you that you're going to be sorting foods into different groups? Do you know what foods are in what groups already? Do you know what the groups are? And do you know how to vary the food? So having a varied diet. Okay, so moving on today then. Let's just have a look at these few bits of food here. We've got fish and chips, gelato, corn chicken, oil, broccoli, and pasta. Which one do you think is the odd one out? Is there only one answer? Again, in school, we would agree with each other or build on or challenge each other. At home, it's slightly different. But is there only one answer, or can there be lots of different reasons for each different one being an odd one out? Just something to think about. Okay, so we're going to go straight into Emmet today, and Emmet understands that a healthy and varied diet should be good, nutritious food and to have a mix of foods, so not always eating the same thing. Do you agree with him? Do you think this is a good definition? Good, nutritious food, meaning healthy, and a mix of food is varied, so not always eating the same thing. So I think that's a fairly good definition. Hopefully you agree at the moment, but we'll see what he has interpreted. So he says that Emmet created a meal plan for an average day, and he's quite pleased with his meal plan. What do you think? So in a moment, I will move the purple box. Are the foods healthy, and is there a mix of foods? Okay, so on his average day, he's planned breakfast, Weetabix with milk, with a drink, banana milkshake. For lunch, he's got a cheese sandwich, he's got a yogurt, and he's got strawberries and cream. With a drink, he's going to have a milky coffee. For dinner, he's got macaroni cheese with a side salad. For dessert, he's got raspberry gelato. With a drink, a milky tea. And then for snacks during the day, he's had a cheese string and 3 squares of milk chocolate. Pause the video here and just have a look at that daily meal plan. Again, are the foods healthy, and is there a mix of foods? Okay, hopefully you've had a look on there, and probably what you're thinking at home, or that you've chatted if you're in school, is that doesn't look like a bad meal plan. There's nothing too unhealthy on there for each of the individual meals. He's included drinks with each of them. You've got 3 square meals for your breakfast, lunch and dinner, and a few snacks. But is there a mix of foods? So he's not eaten Weetabix for breakfast, Weetabix for lunch, and Weetabix for dinner, but there is something he has repeated a few times. I wonder if you can spot what he's repeated a few times. Okay, so hopefully you're thinking, well, there's milk with the breakfast, so Weetabix and milk, and then a milkshake, and then cheese and yogurt and cream, and more milk in the coffee, and macaroni cheese, and raspberry gelato, and a milky tea, and a cheese string, and milk chocolate. What do all of those foods have in them? What group would they be in? Okay, hopefully you're saying they are all dairy. So while he has a mix of foods, I agree with Emmet that his foods are good and nutritious, and I agree that there are a mix of them, but he hasn't quite mixed from the right food groups all the time. and I can see a lot of dairy in his meal plan at the moment. And now dairy is good for you, good for children, good for adults, but it's about having that mix. So if he's got too much dairy, I wonder what other food groups he is missing. Okay, let's learn a little bit more about those food groups. So last week when we looked at what gelato was made from, we looked at where the ingredients came from and what seasons they were available. And we categorized those into 3 categories, whether it was reared, grown, or processed. But how else can we categorize food? Do you know what the 5 different food groups are? Some different colors. Maybe they will help you. Again, pause the video here if you need to, but let's have a look. Did you know one of the groups was fruit and vegetables? Another group, carbohydrates. Another group, protein. Another group, dairy, and we've just spoken about dairy on the previous page. And the final one for the oils and fats. Okay, so now we know what the food groups are. These categories are divided on this plate, showing different amounts. And where do you think each should be placed? So do you think we need this much dairy? That's maybe what Emmet thought when he was planning. Do you think that we only need a teeny tiny amount of protein? Where do you think they should go? Again, I'll pause it here for you to have a think. And while you do have a think, just think, why is it split like that? Why is it split like this into these amounts? And why should we have some more foods in one than a different group? Okay, so we have actually put on, or I've put on these for you, our fruit and vegetables at the top and our carbohydrates. That should be a third of our plate each time we eat. So you should have a third fruit and veg and a third carbs. And then the other third is split up into 3 different categories. We have oils and fats in the purple, so quite a small box there. Then our dairy, and then finally our protein. So now that we know the categories, how can we sort the food? And how do you know what category each food is in? So we've got lots of different foods at the side: yogurt, pasta, steak, fish and chips, oil, cucumber, lettuce, potatoes, fizzy drink, crisps, cheese, and egg. Where do they go? How do we know? Again, I'll just ask you to pause here if you need to have a think or have a chat with someone. Okay. And it also says at the side here that completing this activity practically might be more beneficial. So before I say any more, last year with my children, I actually brought in food for them to hold and to have a look at. Now, if you're at home and you have access to your parents' or your carers' cupboards, you are more than welcome, if they are happy with you to do so, to go and take out a yogurt and have a look at the ingredients and find out where it goes, to have a look at a packet of pasta. If not, we can just have a look at these and know where a lot of them come from. So again, we can start with the basics and we can put cucumber into the fruit and vegetables. We can put the lettuce, things like that. We generally know what a fruit or a vegetable is. Then we have a look at the carbohydrates, the next ones. They're the foods that give us lots and lots of energy. This includes things like pasta, potatoes, rice, things like that into there. Then protein, so lots of things with protein, meats, nuts, things like that. So I can put my steak into there. My dairy, we've already spoken a little bit about. I'm going to put the cheese, milk, yogurt, things like that into there. And the last one, again, oil, and obviously lots of mine aren't fitting in, the fizzy drink, things like that. So mine aren't all fitting in there, but I've had a go at doing a few of them there. Your task today, one of your tasks I'll say that again. One of your tasks will either be to have a go at cutting out those pictures and putting them on your own food plate, or having a look in your cupboards and just trying to separate them onto a table, something like that. So this is what I did with my class last year. We had a big hoop and I put some rulers and things across and we just sorted them out. So these were foods I had in my cupboard that I brought in. You can see the carbohydrates at the top right here, the fruit and veg, oils and fats, dairy and protein. So you can see from my image here that we've tried to sort them. Some of them I will say were more tricky than others. Things like this orange juice could have been in a few different categories, It is made from oranges, which are a fruit, but there are lots of sugar in there, so it could potentially have gone between the oils and fats. But we've got cereals in here in the carbohydrates as well. We've got some oats, we've got some corn in the protein here, as well as some kidney beans and some other meats, some chicken, some mince. Then we've got some cream, some yogurt, some cheese, a lactose milk just in dairy there. And then in the oils and fats, we had a packet of biscuits, chocolate bar, some butter or some margarine there, some oil and a can of Coke. Okay. You can have a go at this yourselves, though you don't just need to take my word for it. But now that we know what categories the foods fall in, how can we plan a healthy and varied meal plan? So which foods go where? And at the bottom there, I've said which one is good, which one is better, and could you create one that's the best? So for your other task today, there will be a go deep. So for you to plan an average day, even just write down the foods that you eat at the moment. Generally, not every single day, but just pick one day. Generally, if you have cereal and milk for breakfast, just pick a cereal and pop it there. And what you can do under, if you want, is put a little C underneath your cereal. So this morning I had honey hoops and milk for my breakfast. I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller so it fits into my box. I put honey hoops, oh, still needs to be a bit smaller, and milk. And then what you can do if you want to make it easier, I can put a C. Oh, and again, I need to make that smaller. I can put a C for carbohydrates under my honey hoops, and I can put a D for dairy under my milk. And that way what you're doing is you're showing me where the foods come from that you've realised. And hopefully you'll be able to see or try and get it varied so you don't have lots and lots of dairy like Emmet did. Again, you can plan a drink in, lunch with a drink, dinner, dessert with a drink, and snacks just like Emmet did. If you want to challenge yourselves further and you don't have to, you can attempt the vegan or vegetarian choice. So just on here, on the Go Deeper on the right-hand side, it's an average day for a vegetarian or vegan. Now, a vegetarian doesn't eat any meat, and a vegan doesn't eat anything from an animal. So have a think about not having anything produced from an animal, no cheese, no milk, none of the meats, of course. Definitely trickier to make sure you've got all those food groups in, but it's there for you if you want a challenge. So I'm just going to go over those now. I've gone onto this page. Your first task then is to sort the foods into the categories. Now, last year, again, we did it as a class, but I have put on your daily planner the plate and some little images of foods if you want to cut up and have a go at that, or if you want to do it practically at home with your parents' cupboards, if they're happy for you to do that. And then to use that information to create your healthy and varied meal plan for an average day. And like I did say, for the Go Deeper, it's for your vegetarian or vegan. Again, this is only if you want to have a go at doing another one. You don't have to do them all. I wish you lots of luck with this. It's one of the lessons I really enjoy doing in school with you because the conversations we have are quite fun. But I look forward to seeing pictures later if you want to send those in. Have a go now and just come back at the end so we can do the learning pit. Good luck. Okay, well done at having a go at that then. Where were you today? How did you find that lesson? Was it tricky doing it from home? Would you have preferred to be in school and handling the foods and sorting groups with your friends? Probably, but how did you find it? Have you learnt about healthy and varied foods? Have you learnt what foods are really good to go with other foods? Do you normally eat a healthy and varied diet? Sometimes, maybe not other times. Well done for having a go at that. If you can pop yourself on the learning pit, that would be great. And I will see you next week for some more DT. Thanks again.